Welcome to the Dawn Edition. Power, wealth, fame uncovered. Every week, we take you deep into the untold stories of South Africa's richest, most powerful, and most controversial figures. From the kingpins to the moguls, the deals, the drama, and the secrets behind the headlines. If it's real, raw, and rising, we cover it here. Subscribe now, and join the empire. New videos every Thursday. This is the Dawn Edition.
How would you describe yourself?
I don't need to describe myself to anyone. I will never entertain the noise of the world. I live in my own world with my own rules.
When you hear the name Shauwn Mkhize, better known as MaMkhize, one word comes to mind: power. Another: luxury. Another still: controversy. Hers is not just a story about wealth. It is a story about survival, reinvention, and what it means to live at the very edge of South Africa's high society. And before we begin, I'll ask you to do 3 things. Hit that subscribe button right now. Comment your thoughts as the story unfolds. And most importantly, drop the name of any South African tycoon you'd like us to feature in our next episode. This channel is built with you, our viewers, and your requests guide the stories we tell. So, sit back. Because for the next 2 hours, we are peeling back the velvet curtain on the woman who went from the dusty streets of Claremont to becoming one of the most talked about figures in South Africa. This is the story of MaMkhize, the rise, the fall, the reinvention, and the empire she continues to build, even in 2025. She was not born into opulence. Shauwn grew up in a modest home in Claremont, KwaZulu-Natal. Her mother, Florence Mkhize, was a fierce activist who fought against apartheid. Florence was known for her fire, her influence, and her ability to get things done. And little Shauwn absorbed those lessons early: the world doesn't give you power, you take it. As a young woman, Shauwn studied accounting. But she didn't want to be just another accountant working behind a desk. She wanted to build empires. She wanted her own story. In the 1990s, she saw her opportunity: construction. She founded the Zikhulise group, and at first, it was just another small player. But with persistence, with the right political connections, and with a keen understanding of South Africa's tender system, Zikhulise started winning contracts. Roads, schools, low-cost housing, millions of rands poured in. By the early 2000s, MaMkhize had made her mark. But with money comes questions. How did she get those tenders? Was it skill? Was it political influence? Whispers of corruption followed her from the beginning. And then came SARS, the South African Revenue Service. They accused Zikhulise of owing hundreds of millions. At one point, the number was as high as 200 million in unpaid taxes. Think about that: 200 million rands. For many, that would mean financial ruin. But for MaMkhize, it was just another battle.
You were found guilty of fraud.
But it can't be me, because that was not me.
But it was.
It's the company.
And here's where her story takes on legend status. Because while she was fighting SARS in court, she was also living a life of pure luxury. Her Lucia mansion became a symbol of wealth. Valued at over 25 million, it wasn't just a home, it was a palace. Gold-trimmed staircases, chandeliers, indoor pools, lounges that could host royalty. She opened it up to the world in her reality TV show MaMkhize, and suddenly, South Africans had a front row seat to her life. Some adored her. Some despised her. But everyone watched. And let's not forget the cars. The Rolls Royce worth 10 million. The Bentley Bentayga, 5 million. A garage filled with Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Range Rovers, and G-Wagons. At one point, her car collection was valued at over 50 million. For MaMkhize, these weren't just toys. They were proof. Proof that she had arrived. Proof that no matter what SARS said, she was untouchable. But here's the question I want to ask you, and I want you to answer in the comments right now: should a businesswoman under investigation flaunt such wealth? Or should she have kept a low profile? Your answer matters, because it tells us what you think about power in South Africa.
Sometimes people, they think, I don't know how to identify success.
Yes.
Because for me, there's a lot of hard work that comes within the success, and it's not so cozy
and it's not just a smooth road that you go through before they can say there's a success. And for me, I don't think I'm successful as we speak, because there's still a lot that I think I would like to achieve. There's still a lot that I haven't achieved. There's still a lot of things that I would love to do. Then I'll consider myself a successful person.
Now, Mkhize wasn't just about cars and houses. She was about family. Her son, Mbabane, became her pride and joy. He was installed as the chairman of a football club at just 20 years old. He rapped, he danced, he drove supercars, he lived the life of a young king. But critics said it was all nepotism. Did he earn it? Or was it just the privilege of being born into wealth? Again, drop your thoughts in the comments, we want to know. But let's return to the empire. Around 2019, Mkhize made her boldest move yet, football. She bought the PSL status of Bloemfontein Celtic, one of South Africa's most historic clubs, and rebranded it as Royal AM. Suddenly, she wasn't just a businesswoman, she was a football boss. And oh, did Royal AM make headlines? Players receiving cash bonuses on the pitch. Viral videos of money being handed out like confetti. It was unheard of in South African football. Some said it was innovation. Others said it was disgraceful. But either way, it was Mkhize, always breaking the mold, always grabbing attention. But every empire faces storms. And in 2025, the storm came hard. SARS struck again, this time with a 37 million preservation order. Her luxury cars seized. Her buses seized. Her prized Maybach gone. Auctions were held. Millions were raised. And the image of Mkhize's luxury empire took a hit like never before.
Very good evening to you. We begin here. The Hawks Police and South African Revenue Service officials have raided the Umhlanga home of controversial businesswoman Shauwn Mkhize this afternoon. It follows a preservation order granted by the Durban High Court.
Then came the ultimate blow. Royal AM was expelled from the PSL. Sponsorships worth tens of millions collapsed. The football dream that had once put her on the map was now gone. But Mkhize is not a woman who stays down. Almost immediately, she looked beyond South Africa to Eswatini. In July 2025, she took over Mbabane Highlanders, rebranding it Mbabane Highlanders AM. Once again, Ndile was installed in the center of the spotlight. But once again, drama followed. Reports said she must pay a 5 million payment on the deal. Court cases loomed. Directors resisted. And the same question that has followed her all her life was asked again, is this the rise of a new empire, or just another chapter of chaos? And here's where I pause to remind you, subscribe to the Dawn Edition right now. And in the comments, tell us, who should we cover next? Do you want us to expose the empire of Patrice Motsepe, the lifestyle of Kenny Kunena, or the controversies of Kate McKenzie? Drop the name below, and we might feature them in our next video. Now, let's talk numbers. What is Mkhize's net worth in 2025? On paper, some claim it's still over 300 million. Others argue that after SARS, liquidations, and asset seizures, it could be much lower. But what is undeniable is her influence. She is still one of the most recognizable figures in South Africa. She still commands media attention. She still represents, for many, the face of the black female hustle.
Kungona abantu bazi ukuthi uMaMkhize ubuyaphi iziphi ingqinamba abhekana nazo udlulephi ka uMaMkhize akavelanga nje abalo uMaMkhize awuyena ube nazo ingqinamba naye abhekane nazo abantu ngiyathanda ba relate ukuthi I'm also human abantu ba understand ukuthi ekukhuleni kwami ngiye ngahlala entandaneni ekukhuleni kwami ngiye ngahlala ebackroom abanye banalento yokuthi because I grew up from a political background yonke into kumina nje ibivelize ngetray ihloko esithi my world my rules siyazisho nje ukuthi ngisiphilele emhlabeni wami onemthetho yami
sikubone even nakwishow ye television kaloku Shauwn Mkhize this Shauwn Mkhize and then what changer wagathini wathi wa reinventa umunye umuntu akabuza ukuthi iso sezinye zezizathu leso sokuthi even ne brand wherever uhambo yakhona wonke umuntu ucula uMaMkhize manje
because thina abantu besifazane siyathanda kakhulu.
Yeah.
We want to please abantu esuke sishade nabo. Usithola ukuthi sesifuna ukuphila impilo ethandwa abantu bethu bese siyakhohle ukuthi thina sithanda.
Nalo nempilo ya.
Umjolo wami wawunzima and angiregret ngomshado wami. I'm fine.
Her critics say she is a symbol of corruption, a woman who exploited tenders and taxpayers for her personal luxury. Her fans say she is proof that black women can build empires, dominate industries, and live without apology. And that's why her story is so captivating. It is not a clean story. It is not a story with heroes and villains. It is messy. It is glamorous. It is controversial. It is South Africa. So, what do you think? Is Mkhize the ultimate hustler, or a cautionary tale? Is she a survivor, or is she reckless? Should we celebrate her resilience, or question her every move? Let us know in the comments right now. We are waiting to hear your voice. And remember, at the very end of this video, check the top left corner of your screen. That's where you'll see our next story waiting for you. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Because as long as Mkhize is alive, her story is not finished. And neither is ours. This is the Dawn Edition, and we'll see you in the next episode.